that was just brought to my attention last night. Shout out to my man Grimlord. It's something I talked about years ago, which is the phone era, right? The smartphone, social media era has caused an alarming jump in depression and anxiety in these young kids, right? They're like really fucked up. Not just like, oh, they're a little fucked up. I need to send the link to Andrew, as I was actually looking for on my phone just now. And when you see this article, you're gonna be like, oh shit, Andrew, it's no joke, man. These kids,
it doesn't surprise me
because they aren't talking.
Yeah, well, they'll lack all the empathy that you get with like face-to-face communication.
Oh yeah. Kevin says, "Hey, I have a 32-year-old. The old fuckers are here for you. I love the old fuckers. No, actually, I'm telling you right now. Like hanging out with older folks. I think, look, I'm a millennial, and it's kind of weird. They think I'm a kid, but then I tell them, I'm like, guys, on the internet, everybody calls me a boomer. So like the kids think I'm a fucking relic and a dinosaur, but to them, I'm like a sperm, you know, these people were out there, you know, I'm meeting people who were on Hamburger Hill, who were in Vietnam, who were in Dien Bien Phu, whatever the fuck. These people were at historical events, you know, did some real shit, slit some people's throats. And, you know, I talk to them and they're just like, they have such stories and such wisdom, and they've seen shit before. They've seen the bad times and the good times. They've seen the cycles, and there's so much to learn from those guys. Speaking of an old fucker who I actually learn a lot from, Andrew Bronca, how's it going, my friend?
There he is.
Hey
Bronca,
guys,
how you doing?
Hey, I don't know how long I can stay. Every time I join one of these streams, I end up blowing it up. So,
well, we have to piss some people off on Valentine's Day. Come on, if they don't get one Bronca soundbite that they could clip out, you know, and use against you, what are we doing in this world, Andrew? What are we really doing?
Hey, Phil, good to see you again. Drex, how you doing, man? Happy Valentine's
I'm always
Day,
good,
everyone.
Bronca. Hopefully, you and your wife are having a very happy Valentine's Day. I know it means nothing to us; it means everything to them, right? Like,
yeah.
Dudes are like, oh, it's just another day, right?
Yeah. Has your spending increased on Valentine's Day or decreased over the years? What's your spending looking like?
Well, crap, I don't know. I mean, my wife spends money in other ways. So on Valentine's Day in particular, not much. But, you know, did she book a $10,000 cruise? Yeah. I mean, it's not for a year. But, yeah, so, I mean, I get the bill
she chips
one way
away.
or the other.
Well, Bronca, I sent Andrew a couple of articles. You can actually basically look at you can literally look at just the headline and kind of see where this is going. Bronca, you and I, we come from a world, me, you, Andrew, Phil, you know, even though there's some years that kind of separate us, we didn't grow up with the internet. And it has a huge difference. The internet came into our life, right? Yeah. So all of us were outside riding bikes. We were all getting into trouble. We were all doing things. We always had to communicate with people face to face, right? And now, you know, I sent Andrew these articles. Teen depression explodes along with smartphone use. Mm-hmm. And you're starting to see. So, Bronca,
Bronca's got daughters, right? You got daughters, so
yeah,
you know,
sure.
This is something you see, you know, with your daughters probably, you know, using the smartphones. I don't know how often they use them, but I think everybody at a certain point is pretty glued.
Yeah, I mean, my 11-year-old has an iPhone. You know, I mean, my wife handles all the child security software stuff on it. She's our IT guru, so I trust her to make sure it's as safe as something like that can be. But even when you're saving them from the outright creeps, just the social dynamics are completely different. I mean, listen, my Tinder was a 10-speed bicycle. I mean,
right?
Well, I have a 10-speed bicycle. I rode it 3 miles, and there was my cheerleader girlfriend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Bronca, that's missing. I was on my way to work this morning. I was talking to my girl J Love, and her grandmother just passed, R.I.P. And her grandfather is looking like, you know, he's, you know, any day now, right? They're in their 90s, and they've been married for 72 years together, like 75, right? And I was like, well, how did they meet? Do you know how they met, Phil? They met at the Minnesota State Fair. Her grandfather was just walking, looked over, saw a girl. I think she was like 16 at the time, 16, 17. Saw a girl and went, "That's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. I'm going to make her my wife. And his buddy bet him 50 cents, because, of course, times were different.
That was money. That was real money.
That was money back then, right?
That was
and that he wouldn't go talk to her. And the thing was, though, is that this is what the crazy thing, though, Bronca. When he walked over to her, something that people don't do today, right? Because everything is swiping and eliminating people before they even get a chance.
Well, hold on. I just want to be very clear with you, Drex. Would you not give this girl a chance? Because look what are you not going to give Nicole a chance here? She's just asking not to be sexualized. I mean, you're not going to give her a chance? No smash?
That is the hardest pass ever. Well, this thing though, Bronca, ask any woman out there, right? All these IG chicks, all these girls out here thinking that they're going to land the next NBA player, NFL guy, Hollywood movie star, right? Ask them this simple question: hey, did your grandmother marry a 6'5" Chad? Right? No. You see what I'm saying? Like.
That's how the social media dating apps have destroyed women's minds. I mean, listen, I met my wife Emily only 17 or so years ago. I met her on the street in Boston. She was an attractive girl on the street. I walked up, offered to buy her a cup of coffee. We met. I thought she was super hot, and that's just how you met women in the days before dating apps.
And that was it. And you just did it. You just did it. You just actually did it.
And by the way, you might do it 100 times and score 5 times. I mean, who knows? It's partly a number of the number.
Well, guess
you
what?
Don't score any of the shots you don't take.
And guess what, Bronca? If let's say you're going out and approaching, and it only works 1 out of every 5 times, you only get a number 1 out of every 5 times. Your odds are still better, and these are current numbers. Than if you're on a dating app. These just came out, very current numbers. So
but it wouldn't work today because all the women are on dating apps. So when a woman's on a dating app, I understand. But when a woman is on a dating app, she is awash. She's being offered 10,000 guys,
right?
And if there's a pool of 10,000 prospective dates, 990,000 of them are inadequate. They're not the top 10%. And she's only interested in the top 10%. Now, most women are not top 10% women. That's not an insult to women. It's just
don't tell them that, Bronca. They're all 10s, right?
They are.
Yep. They all think they are.
And those guys will show up to smash them, and then they'll ghost them and they'll go away. But these women will always believe, well, I had a top 10% guy. I can get a top 10% guy again. And you can for a casual encounter. But you can't get that guy to commit his life to you.
Right.
But they deceive themselves. They live a Disney view of the world. And it destroys them because they're so sure they can get it. If only they hang on a little longer. If only they don't settle. If only they don't compromise. And then they hit 30, 35, and they're like, oh my God. Most of my girlfriends are married, have kids, have a family. And of course, obviously, the dating market becomes unbelievably competitive because now the guys in their age range, the 30, 35, 40-year-old guys, are finally making some money, finally have some means, finally can afford to spend. And the 35-year-old woman now has to compete not just with other 35-year-old women, but the 20 and 25-year-olds who just rolled off the assembly line.
But hold on, Bronca, she's got a very nice career, and she's frozen her eggs just for you. She's frozen her eggs just for you.
Bronca, the career.
The frozen eggs.
Sorry, Speedy says, by the way, these gym girls need to stop. That we know why you dress
we know why they dress like that. Well, I have a question. For Phil. Andrew, bring up that article title again that you had up.
But I brought it up because I'm not any better. If I were to approach a girl on the street today, if I were dating, that same girl is still on all the dating apps.
Yeah,
she's
correct. Statistics have changed.
Other guys. So it's not like the approach that worked for me 17 years ago would necessarily be effective now. I mean,
that approach is over. No, cold approach is done.
Because the problem is the women are broken.
Yeah, I mean, dating apps have been a hydrogen bomb.
It broke them.
Yeah, dating apps coupled with social media.
It's like warfare. It's like warfare before the atom bomb and after, right? There are different rules when there's nukes, right? And we're there now, right? You can't regress. You can't put it back in the bottle. It's there and it's global to a certain extent. So did you want me to bring up the one about sadness? This one, Drex?
Yeah. See where it says teen girls report record levels of sadness. CDC finds. Adolescent girls reported high rates of sadness, self-deletion thoughts, and sexual violence, as did teenagers who identified as gay or bi, right?
Right.
Now, Phil, you and I have talked about this, where when it comes to not just the schools, but like what these kids are taking in, day out, right? Like the kinds of images they watch. Some of these dudes and chicks who consume porn all day, who swipe all day. It's a dopamine hit, right? They go like this, Bronca.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yep.
gross.
And guys who are just on the make, right? The Chads, the Tyrones, the Pookies, who are just looking to smash. They'll swipe in the right direction for.
Yeah. Well, why not?
Phil's,
I mean, they don't care.
don't offend Phil. His middle name is Pookie. So he may not look it. But
Well,
I mean,
Phil, what is your take on that?
Really?
What is your take on the fact that like so people have more technology to I mean, think about it. I would say 15 years ago, right? Okay, 17 years ago, when Bronca met his now wife on the street. Back then, we couldn't be having this conversation because technology wasn't up to par. You see what I'm saying? Fast forward to today, 17 years later, we're all having this conversation. Do you notice that men are more connected than ever, right? Guys are like, oh yeah, hey, what's up, bro? Sharing experiences, passport bros.
Smartphones, we will use that as a utility.
Correct. It's not our life.
Now,
it's not our life.
And if there's a problem, I mean, we could use the phone to say, look, I hear what you just said. I'm going to come around. We're going to sort this out. Like men, you might have a quick punch up, done. That's still fairly old school. The women, on the other hand, will start sniping at each other and like just getting at each other, and they can't turn the phone off. So it's just going to keep on coming at them, and it absolutely destroys any self-esteem that they actually have.
Women are the worst misogynists on the planet.
Oh God,
yeah,
horrible.
It's true. It's true.